Welcome back, everyone. So today, the Milestones program, a guided journey through memory support. So step one of the program is upon admission, ideally, we want to review the milestones at our Otterbein program with our residents and families. We want to focus on non-pharmaceutical interventions, and we want to be explaining the program options to the residents and families. Step two, we want to provide an in-detailed assessment. So for anyone with dementia diagnosis upon admission, we want them to complete the following. First, a path to engagement, which is called the GEMS, completed usually by the speech therapist. We want to do cognitive assessments, such as the BIMS, mini mental, and normally those would be completed by our social workers. And then our physical functions, also our therapy department, and our emotional. Our social worker also does lots of assessments to see their depression scales and see where they're at. And then the personal about me's. This is in detailed assessment to see who these people were in their past lives. Were they teachers? Were they mothers? What did they enjoy doing? So it's just a really dive deep details. And this can be completed by anybody in your neighborhoods or care communities. So the About Me's, this is what the About Me's looks like. I'll hold up one that has been completed. So you'll see here, this person, his name was Jack. And he liked to be called Jack. It's important that we know what they're and want to be called. It tells them about their family, that they were married, what their children's names was, their careers. This gentleman, he worked for a factory here locally for 40 years. Oh, it's great that we really get to know that. This is your favorite memories, what they're most proud of, and what their fears are. It's important for us to know. If they're fearful of dogs, maybe we won't want to bring a therapy dog into his room. So this is very, very detailed information about that person. So step three, we want to form a milestones team. So each care community and neighborhood should be holding meetings once a month with certain team members. The Milestones champion. Each care community and neighborhood has a champion, a milestone champion. You want to have your clinical leader involved, or your social worker, nurse, STNAs, program director, culinary leader, housekeeping leader. It can be any of these folks that are involved in the Milestones team. Step four is develop a path to well-being. Now this is an action form, and we'll talk a little bit about this a little bit later, but it's an action form, specific path that will enhance the residents' and elders' quality of life, and make sure we're giving them holistic growth with that. Path to well-being will be based on 7 dimensions of well-being and tied to the programming of 9 degrees of wellness. The path to well-being will include strategies and tasks to define a path to joy, meaning, growth, security, autonomy, identity, and connectiveness. So what is the path to well-being? Well-being is a much larger idea than either quality of life or customer satisfaction. It is based on holistic understanding of human needs and capacities. Well-being is exclusively highly subjective and the most valuable of all human possessions. So what we're looking at, we want to make sure that we are bringing joy to our residents. That means delight and happiness, meaning and growth, security, autonomy, identity, and connectiveness. So this is like a pyramid. And if we don't have all of this, we're not very happy people. We want all of our elders and residents to be very happy people. So again, I'm showing you example that we have here. This is what you will see if you're a partner. So this is one that we have created here. So this person, what brings in meaning is visiting with family and friends, attending mass, and talking about football. Their growth, attending Bible studies and watching football. Their security, talk to resident when anxious to calm. Talk about what the things that you might have learned about from the About Me. We want to talk to him about those and reminisce with him. The path to joy is football. He's an avid Ohio State guy. So we want to make sure that Ohio State's playing. We want to make sure he's in front of that TV rooting them on. He loves singing and playing the guitar. Most of our partners didn't know that, and we were able to have the family, even though he needed a little assistance holding the guitar up, for him to be able to string a little bit was very meaningful to him. He likes attending mass, like we said before, visiting with friends. On his scooter, he loves to ride his scooter around, so he really enjoys that. So we need to allow him the freedom to do that as long as he's safe to do it. Talking about the Rough Riders, that's our hometown. We're called the Rough Riders here, and he loves to talk about Rough Rider football. Talking about his wife and family, and we know a lot about his wife and family just through the About Me. And being around friends and family and listening to old country music. Now, if we were going to bring him to a music program, and let's say that it is like hard rock or something, that might not be the thing that's going to bring him joy. But if we have a country singer coming in, by gosh, we want to make sure that we're inviting him to that. So this is what the path to well-being is. There are tasks, mass. We want to make sure that this gentleman is attending mass or any Catholic services. So this is a great way for our staff, housekeepers, nursing assistants, nurses, whoever's down that hall, and they know something like this is going on that might interest this gentleman. We want to make sure we take him down to those events to bring him meaning. So this is the path to well-being. So step 5, implementation, meet with the care partner team, including the family and resident or elder, to review the path to well-being. So this is not something the staff just sits around and makes up. We want to make sure we're having resident and family input on this, because let me tell you, these families know their people a lot more than we do, so they can help us dig deep to that. We want to define the role of the care partners, family elders, and team involvement. We discuss how the plan is integrated into the resident elders care plan. We want to integrate the path to well-being into the residents' care. So you'll see this on the PCC under tasks. So we want to make sure that if there's a Catholic service that's going on, that you go in the computer and document that you took that gentleman actually down to that, so we can kind of keep track of his attendance. We want to discuss these residents that are on the path to well-being in our partner huddles. Step 6 is review and monitor. Review and update the plan of well-being with family and residents during quarterly care meetings and as needed. Maybe there's a significant change. So both of these are not meant to be a one-time done, you'll never see it again. This is supposed to be fluid. The more we get to know our residents, these things need to be changing all the time. Or if their gym levels has changed, maybe we need to adapt different activities to their cognitive level. Monitor by resident satisfaction, expressions, documentations, and partner input, quality outcomes, depression scales, discharges to memory care or different levels of care, and participation levels, percentage of path to well-beings completed. In pulling it all together, the domains of well-being, identity, connectedness, security, autonomy, meaning, growth, and joy. Degrees of wellness is holistically incorporates the domains of well-being into resident elder programming, their activities. Impact to well-being, specialized resident directed memory care pathway aimed to enhance the residents' experience through engagement. So milestones support programming components. So let me make this very clear before I even get started. And if I was in a class right now, the first thing I'd ask is, whose responsibility is it to do these programmings with our elders? And the simple answer is it's everybody's responsibility. So what's happened in the past, as I have been in the caring for folks with dementia and Alzheimer's in healthcare settings throughout my career, we kind of set our partners up for failure. You might have a third shift nursing assistant, and we'll tell them, hey, you need to keep this person busy, or you need to keep an eye on them. And they honestly don't know what to do with these folks, or they don't have the equipment to do something with somebody that's maybe have an expression or a behavior. So I'm going to take a few minutes and show you some of our programming supplies that are readily available for anybody to use with a resident. And this should be done quite frequently. And we want to utilize these programs way before an expression or behavior happens. If we're keeping people calm all day long, hopefully they don't escalate to have an expression or behavior. So first of all, I'm going to start off with our chatter bags. So mind you, each of these program materials are specific just for each resident. So here at St. Mary's, and your bags might look a little bit different in your neighborhoods and care communities, but this is just what we came up with. So it's a bag that looks like this, and they're multicolored. Our marketing staff was so kind to make sure we have the logo on here. That way our partners and also our family members, if they come in to visit, they have a bag of goodies for things to do with their loved one. So with this bag here, like I said, it's individualized. So this is an old lady's resident here, and I'll tell you what she enjoys. She loves cats a lot. So in this, we have just a simple picture book of different kinds of kittens. So she can just sit there and look at the kittens. A lot of folks, they like texture. They like softness. So I couldn't put a real cat in this bag. So I just got a little stuffed toy or animal that she can sit there, and it's really soft, and she can pet it. She loves to color. So I got an adult, mind you, we're treating these folks like adults. They are adults. But we got an adult coloring book and it's already in this bag, ready for her at any time. Got some colored pencils in there. She loves to garden, so I got some flowers in here. These folks do a lot better with visual cues than verbal cues. So if you see this, and even we do too, so if I'm looking through this person's bag and I want to have a conversation with her and I see these flowers, that's going to trigger me. Oh, she must love flowers. And we can start a conversation about her flowers. She loved to garden, so I put some gardening seeds in here that we could talk about how she planted her garden. And so you can adapt this bag to each individual. Now, if this person loved to farm and loved Ohio State, well, that bag is going to look a lot different than what this little lady's bag is. I might put pictures of tractors in here. I might put some Ohio State stuff in here. We can talk about Ohio State. So it's supposed to be individualized to that actual person. So that is called a chatter bag. So if they're on the Milestones program, they should have a chatter bag available to them. You will have to check with your location to see where they are storing these at for each resident. Here at St. Mary's, we store these actually in their rooms, but every care community and neighborhood's doing it a little bit different. But you should have it very readily available to you. The next thing is a photo album. So a lot of families are really good, and they'll bring in photo books of pictures of their loved ones, and that's what we love. But a lot of times they look like this, and they're just picture books. But sometimes we can't get, maybe the families live out of state, they can't get to us, they can't help us. We just developed this. It's just a flip chart kind of thing, where he loves to play golf, he loved to play cards, just individualized just for that gentleman. So they'll each have a photo album of some sort. The music and memory, and you'll be getting more educated on this at a later time, but we have downloaded each of the residents' favorite music on their very own it's an MP3 player, and they all get their own headsets. So this will look a little bit different in each community. Some folks are using the Amazon, or not the Amazon, but the Siri kind of devices. As long as they have music individualized just for that person. I prefer the headphones. I feel like they're less distracted when they have the headphones on. But that's up to your care community and neighborhood. Memory moments. So you'll be hearing a lot about memory moments. It's taking a situation and really looking back to see how you handled the situation and how we can do better. So the moment a resident says, I have to go get my children off the bus, the nurse says, no, you don't. Your children are raised and grown. The resident says, are not. And the nurse says, are too. And the nurse says, how old are you? How could you have little children? And the resident smacks the nurse. The nurse calls the doctor and asks for medication to manage that resident's behavior. So I want you all to step back and say, okay, what's your thoughts on that? So the thoughts maybe are the nurse was trying to be honest with the resident, or the nurse did not validate the resident's feelings. The nurse began to argue with the residents, and so forth. And the approaches. Ideally, the nurse would have validated residents by reassuring her that her children were safe, right? The nurse could have reminisced with her about engaging and talking to her about her children. The nurse could have redirected the resident to an activity or maybe a chatterbag or something that she would enjoy. So the next time you would validate on what the resident says, allow the resident to talk about her children, and offer the resident engaging activity to redirect her and avoid getting smacked. Avoid the use of unnecessary medications. So these are situations that we have developed, and we kind of talk through it. And next time, how would we be better? So how does milestones relate to? It relates to the resident and family satisfaction, ODH surveys, state surveys, quality measures. Does it help with falls, UTIs, weight loss, and antipsychotic use? So if you're using this program the right way, it should help with all of these factors. So thank you, and I'll see you real soon.